like, yeah, that sounds silly. And I was like, they're like, no, it's up armored. It's safe. I was like, nope, I don't know. And so I'm holding this cup of coffee and I'm like, oh, but then, and this coffee is so warm. This first warm, steam is coming off it. I'm like, oh my God, I just want this coffee. I was like, what's our second option? He's like, second option is you wait 24 hours. A pair of Chinooks are going to pick you up right here and drop you off in your base tomorrow. I'm like, holding the cup of coffee. I'm like, okay, we'll take the second option. My buddy Clint's like, no, like, let's get back to work. Like, let's get back to the base. I was like, no, I'm going to trump you on this one and we're going to do coffee. He's like, fine. And so we go back to Craig Medical Theater and we're standing there. And if you've never been to Afghanistan, it kind of looks like Phoenix, right? Like you're landing there, just the mountains are all around you. And so we're standing there and we talked to the hospital. We talked to everybody there. And I'm drinking the coffee. All of a sudden, these Blackhawks start coming in. And they land because we're next to the hospital. I think they thought we were somehow associated with the hospital. They land like from me to that wall and throw open the door. The crew chief starts offloading body bags and you can feel the thumping. And they take off. The next one comes in, drops some body bags off, take off. The next one drops some body bags. And in front of me, there's like 15-ish body bags, black body bags. And I'm sitting there with my like third cup of coffee. It's steaming. But I'm looking at the body bags. And this was when I was still a medic. And they're so warm that steam is coming off the body bags. But like all of them, right? So it's like this beautiful scene. And it's surreal. And all of a sudden the helicopters are gone. And the mountains are here. And no one else is there, right? The people haven't even come out of the hospital to deal with it. And I'm sitting there next to Clint. I was like, something bad just happened. Like 15, 20 people just got shown up right here. And the mortician comes out. And he starts cataloging them. I was like, hey, what happened? He's like, oh, yeah, the Rhino bus just got hit with a 2,000-pound vehicle-borne IED. And I'm like, fucking kidding me. And I'm looking at the bags. And I look over at Clint. And Clint's face is all white, right? Because everybody processes death differently. Like you can claim you're going to process it one way or another, but you aren't. Clint is like, oh my God, Susie, his wife. He's like, she would have been so mad at me right now. I was like, this wouldn't be your problem anymore. So I'm drinking the coffee and I'm like, And I'm thinking, I was like, death has literally been delivered to me. Like, I would be another body bag right there. And for me to have been anywhere else on the base, but to be right here, to observe this helicopter land right there and deliver the dead people that I would have been dead with in front, like feet in front of me. And to be holding a cup of hot coffee with the same amount of steam coming off as the body bags. I was like, I turned to Clint. I'm like, after like thinking about it for a minute, I was like, you know, this is a gift, right? And Clint's like, oh my God, Susie would be so mad at me right now. He like repeats himself. And I'm like, no, like our deaths have been delivered to us. I was like, this is insane. I was like, this is a gift. And he's like, I don't know, man. And so like, to know that I could have already been dead and to have a 10-year-old asking me, Dad, what's your body count? I finally cracked the code on why it mattered. So I turned to him. I was like, how would you feel if I died? Like you right now, I go off to war and I die. And he's like, I'd be sad. I was like, yeah, because I wouldn't be taking your birthdays, like, you know, play ball with you, see you grow up, girlfriend, teach you how to drive a car, shave. I wouldn't be able to do any of those kids, any of those things, hold your grandkids, whatever. I was like, how would you feel? I was like, I'd be, he's like, he's using 10-year-old words, but he'd be traumatized. He'd be frustrated. He'd be hurt, right? I was like, okay. I was like, the reason I don't want to tell you how many people I've killed is because when I had to, those people's loved ones also felt that. They would feel exactly what you just described feeling. What you described feeling is theoretical, like, you know, as an idea because you haven't experienced it. They experienced it. And I was like, so out of respect for those people, my number is between 0 and 100, right? But I don't want you to experience that either. But I want to respect what I had to do in the moment, but I didn't enjoy doing, right? And so he kind of looked at me and was like, okay, I get it, Dad. And so like, that's why I hate the flashy headlines, right? Because it disrespects everything that happened. And from a philosophical life perspective, right? It violates, in some essence, everything I've, against my own will sometimes, had to experience and learn, right? From being the neglected kid all the way to, being life or death abilities. And then having to, be in this movie and relive and re-see myself, right? Because I see myself as a different human in that capacity, right? Which lends to the idea of everybody in their situation makes rational decisions based off how they see it. And so, so it's complex because my first deployment, I was busted, right? But I ended up with the Taliban guy, with the kid behind the curtain, and then the guy that got shot in the head, which framed my life forever, my career. And then I end up, tail end of it having been or being in a documentary where some of those guys ended up dying anyway, right? And so, and then having to be asked by a 10-year-old, right? Like, what's cool about it? I'm like, let me really dig into this, because it's not just like a bar top story. Like, I want him to know it's deeper than that. It's more complex than that. And to just give him like a cool guy answer would be a violation of that.
No, because the way I usually like approaching the question on my end, that's why I always ask like the first combat experience in a general sense, because I fully agree. It's like there's definitely some out there that never get that humanizing experience, but I find for many that first time oftentimes is when that gets triggered in their brain, when they start to have that. And I do find it extremely, I guess this is why I wanted to highlight it so well, is you kind of getting that direct human to human type experience before even, like, you trained all these years, you know, if you got thrown in right away without having that, eventually you may get there, but that shifts the dynamic. But you very early on had that type of humanization where it's kind of twofold. One, it's kind of the old saying, like, everybody's a villain in someone's story.
Sure.
The way they look at it. And then two, that of course there's guys on, the opposing side, especially in things like ISIS and Taliban, where you could say that their majority of their makeup is evil.
Yeah.
But then there's
non-negotiable in that.
But then there's a good portion as well who find themselves there by circumstance or lack of even understanding the greater dynamics, all those different things. And that's what so many tend to forget.
Yeah.
And why getting reflections from those that have experienced it in that way, I think, is critical. Like you highlighted, instead of just saying it was this number and it was awesome, it was like, what we had to do over there was because of this reason. That, it's war, it's hell, and that's what it is at the end of the day. There's no,
there's one report I read that really, stuck with once you read it or hear it is when ISIS was going through and, terrorizing, I think it was Iraq or Syria. Some guys opened up a bakery, like an industrial bakery, and took like all the kids and the men, put all the men in the ovens and set it to like 400, took all the kids and threw them in the bread mixer, which is like industrial, huge, dumpster sized drum, and like individually threw the kids in so they would get crushed to death, right? Those guys, unequivocally, those ISIS guys, shoot them 10 times over, right? Just eliminate that gene pool. No issues there. Yeah, but then you hear the stories of like the kid that drove the, IED truck, right? And was bawling and crying because he didn't realize this is what he was signing up for. And the only reason anyone knows about the story is because the IED didn't explode, right? And he's like, no, I just thought I was just like helping, because my uncle told me to. And all of a sudden they threw me in this vehicle and said I had to drive it.